Hello YouTube, it is me, Psychic Medium Natasha, and today's video is actually dedicated to my visual learners. This video is actually associated with this week's blog post on my personal website. If you're not aware, I host a free spiritual blog where I post just about informative spiritual content just for you guys to enjoy. And this week's blog post was actually dedicated to crystal elixirs. So I did add photos for that blog post. I'm very proud of it, but I decided I wanted to take another step further for those who do consider themselves to be visual learners, and that's what this video is dedicated about today. I want to talk about on video about the importance of and significance of what crystal elixirs are, how you could use them, and how you can create them for your own everyday life or your spiritual practice. So if you're interested in learning about those things, all about crystal elixirs, then please keep watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so that you guys can show me your support and so that you guys can never miss out on my free spiritual content. But that being said, I will be speaking instruction as well as showing you demonstration. There's two different ways on how you can create crystal elixirs using the indirect method and the direct method, and I will be going over both. I will be linking that blog post down below in the description box. Please do check it out. It will add more to this video as well as give you specific lists on suggestion with crystals and other things that may be helpful for this. So if you're serious about creating crystal elixirs, I do suggest that you watch this full video as well as read that blog post so that you have a full circle moment, like a full knowledge of being able to do this. And you're more than welcome to comment down below on this video or contact me by email if you have any questions or concerns about creating or using crystal elixirs. But that being said, you guys, let's move right on into this video. So what are crystal elixirs? And no fluff, no gatekeeping, let's just simplify it right now. Crystal elixirs is when it's a specific type of infusion, but it's a crystal infusion. And what that means is it is a liquid substance that is enchanted. It's usually either made from water or oil as like a base, and you are infusing the power or the vibration, the energies of crystals into that base, so that oil or water. So, like I said, there's two different ways to create crystal elixirs, the direct and indirect method. Please keep in mind that some crystals are not safe they're not safe in water, meaning they can dissolve or break apart or become fragile or completely dissolve inside water, as well as some crystals may be actually completely toxic to put into the water because they may have like iron or sulfur or copper or other chemical components or chemicals that are toxic or deadly for humans to touch or to consume. So keep that in mind. In the blog post and with the link down below, I do have specific list on what crystals are safe in water and which ones are not. So please check that out. Do your research. Generally speaking, I believe your crystals have to be a 6 or above on the mole scale hardness to be able to put in water. So like I said, that exact list is in my blog post. But some crystals you can put in water and some you cannot. Typically quartz is safe, so like your amethyst, your clear quartz, rose quartz, citrine, smoky quartz, and rutilated quartz, all of those are safe because they're very strong and durable. So those aren't going to be unsafe in water. So I like to typically use quartz if I'm using the direct method, but there's different ways you absolutely can use crystal elixirs, because the point is you're infusing the power of crystals into a substance, a liquid substance, the oil or the water. And you can take it a next step further and really use different types of waters to boost your intention, like rainwater, snow water, full moon water, seawater. But keep in mind that some crystals are not safe in salt water or salt in general. Or you can use different types of carrier oils and essential oils, or mix those for your crystal elixir. And you can also choose to incorporate added herbs, fresh or dried herbs, if you want to add or boost your intention. So it's really up to you how deep you want to go into this, but it's all about intention. I think crystal elixirs is a great way to utilize crystals without having to physically carry them on you. You're just infusing their power into something else, which you can either use to anoint for yourself, like massage, or for like your tools, or you can maybe drink your crystal elixir if it's like, you know, safe to be in water and, you know, you drink it. Or you could give crystal elixirs as an offering to your spirit guides or deities. Or you can add crystal elixirs into your bath or into rituals. There's really endless possibilities that you can utilize crystal elixirs, but those are some of the ways that witches and spiritual practitioners do like to use them. So that being said, we talked about what crystal elixirs are and how you can use them. Let's talk about how we can actually make them. And to make this even more simple for you guys, I decided to just use big things that'll be easy to show up on camera, as well as things I thought that you guys would have accessible to you. So that's what I'm doing. So I have my bowl here. Make sure that before you make your crystal elixirs that you are cleansing and charging your crystals prior, because you got to remember your crystals, you don't want them to have built up, absorbed stagnant energy, whether it's new to you or you just constantly use them. They're going to absorb energy to them. And if you don't clear that out or purify them, energetically cleanse them, they're not going to work the way you would like them to. And you want to charge them so that your crystals have the energy to work for whatever you want it to do. So make sure that you're cleansing and charging your crystals prior to using them for anything, because they need to be cleansed and charged to work for what you want it to do. I'm using big crystals so that you guys can visually see this. I'm going to do my best with this, but general rule of thumb, cleanse and charge your crystals prior, and make sure your materials, of course, are clean. You know, you don't want no debris and other stuff like that. And maybe even cleanse them as well. And there's different ways on how you can cleanse your materials and your crystals. Safe ways that you can go about it is like incense, or using sound like singing bowls or bells, or some people like to use water and salt and other things, but just to keep it simple, I like to use incense or Florida water, but use what's convenient to you, use your own discernment. The first method I'm going to show you is the indirect method. The indirect method is the safest method, because this is where you are creating a crystal elixir, but the crystal doesn't make direct contact with the base, okay? Which is like your oil or your water, because some crystals are not made or not meant to be submerged, or they're not safe like in water, and let alone touching them or consuming them or whatever, it could damage the crystal or hurt you. So I prefer to use the indirect method. You can use, you can really create crystal elixirs in water bottles or like this, but for demonstration purposes, I'm using a bowl and a jar, okay? Because this is easy for you guys to see, and I personally like this method because I can make a big batch, which I can either drink or add to the bath or whatever, like I said. So remember, your materials are clean, so this is the indirect method. So you want to have your container that will hold your base, like your water or your oil. And you want to have another container, which will actually hold, this will be your vessel to hold your crystal. So I'm going to use black tourmaline for this demonstration. So for the indirect method, in this example, I'm using black tourmaline. I'm putting it into my container, because I do not wish for this to go into the water. So I'm putting my my crystal that's in this jar, and I'm putting it into the bowl of water. And you do not want the water. The water should be spring water. That's my personal preference and opinion. I find that works best, but use your own discernment and intuition. I use spring water. So I'm going to use bottled spring water to pour into this demonstration. So I'm pouring that into the bowl. And then my crystal is in a different container, but the container is in the water. Okay, so that's what it should look like. This would be the indirect method. And once you have this, then the next step is just to pray your intention over the water and over the crystal. Water holds memory. So whatever you tell the water to do, it will do. It will remember that. It holds the imprint of that. Crystals, you have to program them to activate them to do what you want them to do because they have different properties. So, for example, black tourmaline. Charge this water with your powers of grounding, protection, and stability. Allow me to use your energies to harness your power into my everyday life and my spiritual practice. So shall it be. Just as an example, just speak from the heart. It doesn't have to rhyme, doesn't have to be all poetic. Just speak your intention on what you want the elixir to be, the intention. And I personally like to speak to the water and the crystal as if they're people, because they are conscious. And you're just telling them what you want them to do. You're declaring your manifestation, so to speak. So once you set your intention, you can just allow this for like either a few hours or overnight. Use your own discernment. I just find that I will at least let this sit for at least 3 hours, if not overnight. And then I will then take this out and use the water as my elixir. And I can either drink this, or I can add this to my bath, or use this to cleanse myself. There's different ways, but this is an example on how you would create a crystal elixir using the indirect method, okay? Now, I'm going to show you the direct method, and it's quite literal, okay? So if in the indirect method, the crystals don't touch the water, it's the exact opposite for the direct method. So I'm using clear quartz for this demonstration because quartz is very durable. I know this is not going to get hurt in the water, so that's why I'm using it. Plus it's visually huge. This is just a clear quartz crystal ball. So for the direct method of using a crystal elixir, you would pour your base into your container. This could, be some type of water or oil that has intention with you. And then you would place your crystal directly inside of that container in the base. So that would be your water or your oil. So, and then you would set your intention. And it would be the same way. So clear quartz can actually be programmed for any intention, which is why I love, one of the reasons why I love clear quartz is so versatile. But as an example, I could say something like this. Clear quartz, lend your power to this water. Infuse, lend your high vibration. Bring forth clarity and healing into my life. Allow me to move into alignment to serve my highest good. So shall it be. To speak from the heart, it could, I'm just giving you an example, but this is how you would create using a crystal elixir using the direct method. You would directly place your crystals into your base. And then if you want, you can also add herbs, fresh or dried, to boost your intention. But you want to make sure that whatever your intention is for your crystal elixir, you want to match the materials you're using with that intention. So for example, if I wanted to create a love crystal elixir, I could use rose quartz, I could use full moon water, and then maybe I'll add like rose petals to that. And then I would strain that and then maybe drink that or add that to a bath or use that as a cleansing solution, or, you know, just adding that to other spells. But you want to make sure that the materials and the items that you're using all go along with that intention. So if you want it to be for love, use a love crystal, use water that would, you know, be close with that, or add herbs that would align with your intention. But like I said, that's how you would create your crystal elixirs, the indirect method or the direct method. I recommend using the indirect method most of the time. I only use the direct method personally if I'm using some type of quartz, because I know quartz is safe. It's very durable, it's strong as a crystal, so it's not going to dissolve or break or become, you know, compromised, and it's not going to leak any substance that could harm me or make my infusion toxic. So if you have any questions about how to create crystal elixirs or how to use them, you may contact me by email, which will be down below in the description box, or you may comment down below in this video. But thank you for watching. Happy manifesting, happy healing, and blessed be.